Hey, thank you for tuning in to Bucked Up Sups. I'm Mike Simkowiak. Today, we have a guest on our show who is a GNC franchisee owner. Who are you? Tell us a little bit why you're here today and what you do. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. My name is Dane Morris. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I have one store in Pittsburgh, and then I also have two stores in Morgantown, West Virginia, home of West Virginia University, the Mountaineers. Got a lot of following, bucked up people in Morgantown for sure.
So what got you into GNC? Like, how did you start? What's your story behind owning GNC stores? I mean, not every day does somebody own a nutrition shop. So how did you get involved in that?
My story is kind of long, but it really is a great fit for me. After school, I actually went to school at WVU, and I graduated in biochemistry.
Awesome.
And I was planning on going to dental school. Like,
it's a little bit different.
Yeah, my dad's like, yeah, you should get into dental school. I'm like, all right, let's try it. And then by the time I graduated, I figured, that's not what I want to do.
Yeah. Why? Just schooling, or?
Yeah, didn't want to go back to school too much, and it was just rigorous material. But
okay.
In 2008, it was a tough market to find a job in. So I actually went and I worked construction with my buddy for about a year, which was a good job to have at the time, because I knew that I didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So like,
it's good to test the water. Sometimes stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes knowing what you don't want to do leads you to where you actually want to be.
Nice.
So I think it was great for me at the time. I actually decided to go back to school and get my master's in secondary education for chemistry and biology, and I wanted to teach, and I wanted to coach football. I played football and baseball in high school, and really liked coaching. So I went back and also taught at Pitt for a little while.
Did you coach at Pitt?
No, I coached at Penn Hills, a high school, like where Aaron Donald went, of the St. Louis Rams.
Awesome.
I had a guy that made it to the NFL that I coached. It was pretty cool.
So it sounds like you were pretty active and you liked, athletics and fitness.
Yeah, I was always, each season there was something, football season in the fall, snow skiing in the winter, baseball in the spring, and water skiing in the summer. I was always doing something growing up. So
you did have a background in athletics.
Yeah, I was always working out.
Passion for it.
Yeah, definitely. So trying to take care of yourself, my dad really kind of preached that as well. He's always in the gym to this day, so which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So after teaching, I'm like, I don't know if I like to do some of these things like skiing. It might I might need a little bit more money. Maybe teaching is the way to go. I actually went into environmental chemistry and did testing at just waste sites around the country. Just something different.
Mm-hmm.
Realized pretty quick that's probably not what I wanted to do.
Still wasn't what you wanted to end
right,
up,
but I worked for a small business doing that, and I found out that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to own my own small business. So that was like kind of the connection. At that time, I bought a house in Pittsburgh on Mount Washington, and I was never there because I was traveling the country all the time.
With the environmentalist.
Yeah. So then I actually rented out a couple rooms in my house, and one of the guys that moved in, and just happenstance, met him on like Craigslist. He worked at GNC Corporate, which is in Pittsburgh, in the franchise department. And, we worked out together, which was great. We had a lot of common interests. But one day he comes home from work and he's like, hey, they're going to open this store about 4 miles away from the house. And they're thinking about franchising it. I was like, oh, really? I didn't really know too much about the franchise part of it, but he tried it, he explained it to me. And we were going to partner up. We were going to do it together. And I was going to kind of be just on the side because he had, more GNC experience.
Mm-hmm.
But, he got a promotion and, I didn't really like the job I was in. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to do this on my own. So I kind of just jumped right into it. So opened my first store in Pittsburgh. This was about 4.5 years ago now.
Okay.
And
so did you have any knowledge of products, or were you kind of nervous jumping into that industry?
A little bit. I definitely took products. I was taking pre-workout, I was taking creatine, I was taking protein, I was taking all the a lot of products, but there's a lot more than just those three products in GNC.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
They always think, protein, pre-workout, but
yeah, there's like
definitely is
over like 2,000 products, right? So I had to learn a lot, but I had a good guy, Denny Taylor, that I learned underneath at the South Hills Village location, a corporate location, for a few months before I opened my store.
Oh, so they give you some training?
Well, they gave me like a couple weeks, but
really.
but like I actually, what happened was the construction of my store got pushed back. But I'd already quit my job. So, but the best decision I made was to go and work, and learn. And it was a great time an exciting time to learn, about all the different products in the store and how everything ran within the system. So I was like ready to go when I opened that first store, and it was like 7 days a week I was there. You could find me from start to finish, of the day, every day I was there and just busted my butt.
And this was about 4 years ago that you opened your first store?
That I opened my first store. Yeah.
And so then what got you, that must have obviously done well and you enjoyed it, so then you found interest in other stores?
Well, before I even opened that store, they were like, what's your goal? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I'd like to open up more than one, if possible. And, because I went to school in Morgantown at WVU, I was like, there's a couple great locations down there, and one in particular I had. Nice. And they came to me after about a year later, and they were like, hey, we got your store, man, like, you want to do this? And I'm like, yes, let's go. Sweet. And then not far after that there was another one too, so I was like, whoa, this is crazy. If you look at my business plan from day one, it was to open 3 stores in 5 years. And I opened 3 stores in 2.5 years.
Oh, nice.
And it was a little bit faster than I really kind of wanted, but it worked out. It was just, you bust your butt and do it. So yeah, the Morgantown stores are, great. We have a real presence in Morgantown, and awesome. I wouldn't change anything. I love being my own boss and working.
Awesome. So we kind of got the background, how Dane got involved, got his first stores, acquired a couple after that. So what have you noticed that the majority of people are coming into GNC looking for? What's trending? What do people want? What's hot right now?
Right now, well, Morgantown being a college town, it's always going to be pre-workout. Yeah. It's always going to be protein, or probably the top 2 products. Recently, RTDs, ready to drinks, right? From anything from Bang to these raised drinks, Alani Nu.
What about the protein ready to drinks, or is it mostly energy?
Mostly energy drinks. Really? Mostly just energy drinks right now. People are looking for that kick, looking for that focus. That's probably the biggest thing. Higher stim pre-workouts, something like your Woke. Yeah. Definitely a pre-workout that's been just flying off the shelf. Okay.
So how did you get involved, or how are you here today? What drew you to Bucked Up? You own these GNC stores. You love this. You love working out, athletics. You love the products. So what drew you into Bucked Up?
So Bucked Up, I met Ryan and Jose the first convention in Vegas 3 years ago. Okay. Maybe it was 4 years, 3.5. It might be almost 4 years ago. Wow, it's crazy, but yeah, a lot of people.
So you must have just opened your first store.
Yeah, I only had one store. It was my first convention. Okay. And I walked in, and there was 2 companies that I looked at, and I said, those are game changing companies, and one was Bucked Up, and it was because of the first thing I saw was the logo and the name and the sleek look. I was like, that is something you put that logo on your car. Yeah. You put it on your car because it's different, but and everybody loves it. But then it was not just the logo and the catchy name and everything. It was I got to taste the products right there, and I was like, wow. Yeah. That's a game changer. Those taste amazing. And then obviously I didn't get to try the product that day because you're walking around the whole con hall. You're not going to the gym. But I got back to Morgantown, and I actually tried it for a pre-workout the first time, and I was like, whoa, this is really good. These ingredients are legit. It's dosed correctly, and I could see that from the packaging because you guys don't hide anything. But I was surprised how good it tastes and how well it worked. And and I talked to Ryan and Jose because I just thought the branding for it was just phenomenal. Awesome. It just stood out more than anything else to me. So Yeah, so we just stayed in contact.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's come to Morgantown. We've done taste testing and stuff for football games, and we've met in Vegas, and he's come to Pittsburgh, and we've really had a great relationship for years now. And it's just been based off that first interaction at that convention. Just when you had Bucked Up, there wasn't like this huge line of products.
It was just a pre-workout, deer antler spray, but
it was a deer antler spray and the pre-workout, and that's what just started in. It was that logo and the branding, man. The first thing I saw before I even talked to anybody, I was like, wow, this is something different. Like this is special.
Sweet. So what's your response? We're here in Utah, in West Virginia, Pittsburgh. Do people come in these stores? Are they saying, hey, I want Bucked Up? Or you get that response. I mean, you're on the other side. You're on the East Coast.
Yeah, West Virginia was right away. People saw the logo and they asked questions.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, what is this? This is awesome. You know what I mean? So it really has caught on. I mean, we have a ton of different, Bucked Up and DS Labs products. Now, Pittsburgh is really picking up even more. Now, I had one of the guys that works for me up in the Pittsburgh store. He says now people just walk in and they just go directly to that shelf.
Yeah,
like you don't have to. Nobody's asking questions anymore. It's more of they know what it is and they just go and they pick it up, and it's like you can just see it growing in that store for sure. There's no negative feedback.
Yeah,
I mean we sample Bucked Up all the time. Why? Because it tastes awesome and it works. The people, most of the time they just taste it and they're like, all right, I'll take it.
For sure.
You sold.
Yeah. No, that's one thing I liked about it. After years of taking pre-workout, it's like, if they have an aftertaste or they just don't taste good, you don't want to take them every day. Where this was a product, even myself, where it tasted good and it was effective, where if I go to the gym without it, it's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
It's like,
when I had the watermelon container, the first one I got, I was like, I would look forward to taking it every day.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that tastes so good. Like, even if I don't work out, I want to take this stuff.
Yeah. Thing. So what's your favorite thing that Bucked Up carries? Obviously a bit, you have a background about nutrition. What about your through your studies, like what's something that you feel is really effective? I know we've talked about the pre-workout a bit, but is there anything else that really catches your eye in the Bucked Up line?
Right now, you guys just came out with the ketones.
Yeah.
I think are game changing when, the keto diet's pretty popular right now.
Everybody
it's taking
knows
over.
What it is or is trendy.
So
it's popular.
You had the protein, which I think is great protein for the keto diet, but those ketones, when the next competitor that we have in the store is half, has half the potency of like one scoop or like dosage, like it's a no-brainer, right? Yeah. You guys dose your stuff correctly. There's a lot of products I can keep going down the line. The aminos, with the L-carnitine, somebody who's trying to cut, they're going to notice the difference as soon as they take that. And some of these, the other products you have, but I think the ketones one is this one that's unique that I think is just going to pick up steam. It tastes awesome too.
And that's one thing I think, our consumers, they might not have a background about what all these products contain, but they can feel the difference because, like you said, it's double the dose. Yeah. Where they take it and it's effective. So they might not know exactly what an ingredient does, but we try to have everything clinically backed, everything dosed correctly so that you feel it as the consumer.
And I think that's super important. Yeah. There's a lot of products in different, just different arenas in general. It's just like, I don't really feel that. Well, that's because it's not properly dosed.
Yeah.
When you get those proper dosages, like with a company like you're like, oh wow, I get it. Like, it makes sense.
What's your take? Being a franchisee owner, knowing a background about nutrition, when people come in and say, "Well, look at this, it's got 2 times this ingredient." With companies just loading ingredients in. A lot of people think they get more bang for their buck. What's your take on that?
It depends on like what the ingredient is and what the product is. But I try to look at like clinical research and what is the clinical dosage on some of these things and really reading up on it too. Sometimes you don't want too much either, right? Mm-hmm. You want to have the right dosage. So it's not always great to double up on something if it's not needed. Yeah. Maybe adding something else is going to make that ingredient more effective, and you get a better result from it. Yeah. So I look a lot at clinicals and research, to be honest.
Okay, sweet. Well, we enjoyed having you on our podcast today.
Yeah, man.
Is there anything else you want to say? So where are your stores at? Maybe you can tell the people to come visit you, check out your stores.
Definitely. Brentwood Town Square, GNC. It's located off of 51. It's like 5 miles outside of Pittsburgh. It's a great store, great staff. Got a lot of great products in there. Also, 2 in Morgantown, University Town Square, or Town Center, sorry, up by Walmart and Target, right in Morgantown, and then right at across from Suncrest. It's called Research Park Shops, but it's right across from Suncrest, right in Morgantown, not far from the hospitals and the stadium. You can find Bucked Up, all their products pretty much at each one of those locations. We have more Bucked Up products than anybody else. So
yeah. He's loaded up.
For sure.
He was even saying they got some custom shirts.
Yeah, we're going to have a bunch of shirts, giving away a bunch
specific
of stuff.
to his shop.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, we have the blue and yellow, and hopefully the black and yellow coming to the Pittsburgh location.
That'll be sweet. Well, thanks for tuning in. This is Dane with GNC, and all of you, if you haven't tried our products, take his word for it. You might have tried a sample. Go to buckedup.com. Try it for yourself. It's game changing.